Great. I'm Jason Adkins. I'm from Trevecca Nazarene University, and I'm a professor in the Environmental Justice Program, and I also direct the Trevecca Urban Farm. And I'm here with Janice Lovell, who's the Director of Grants, and we're grateful to be here. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to present this. So we live in the 37210 zip code, and we have been involved with the youth work and environmental justice, working with community gardens in the local schools. We also train young people to go into communities and help communities that are food insecure to together achieve food security and overcome especially communities that are traditionally targeted or suffering from food inequities, to overcome those and experience health. So especially through environmental projects and food. So we had an idea based on our experiences that we're calling TreeCycle. And it's a simple concept. We want to build health equity by creating jobs for youth to plant trees and plant trees in gardens using bikes. So what's that look like? We had a little slide. There's a guy on a bike planting trees. I thought it was an original idea, but apparently it's not. This is our neighborhood here. Let's see if yes. So Trevecca University is here, where my pointer is going, and these purple lines are indicating the South Nashville food desert in which we live. And so that gives you, and then up here is downtown. So that gives you kind of a context for where we live and work. And I actually live here and get to bike to work myself. So this is where we want to work, where we're working. Some of the social determinants to health in our zip code, food access. Obviously, the slide before that just demonstrates we're one of the most difficult places in the city for people to access nutritious, culturally appropriate, and affordable food. And there's certainly a lot of ways to address that, and we're involved in several of those ways, including conversations around getting a food co-op into the neighborhood. There's also income barriers in this zip code, which is one of the lowest incomes in the city. We have some educational barriers and safety barriers, some of the determinants of health in our zip code. The Conduit Healthy Communities Institute last year were studying the socioeconomic needs correlated with poor health outcomes in 2017, determined that our zip code was rated 96% of high need. So obviously, one of the three highest in the state, and in terms of health outcomes and challenges and barriers to that. So we feel like we're working in the right place. We're just grateful to have been placed there, and a lot of different departments at the university are interested in getting to work in our neighborhood. Some of the environmental health determinants in our neighborhood are air pollution and barriers to active mobility. As you can see, we're kind of nestled into some of the busiest parts of our city, state, and country in terms of just volume of traffic, and so a lot of the particulates that issue from traffic, a lot of the tailpipe emissions are coming to settle in this neighborhood and creating a lot of air pollution challenges. In addition, something not listed is flooding. Is that there's quite a bit of flooding in our area along Browns Creek, which you can see to the right, and that has become a real issue, especially in 2010, but continues to flood on a semi-normal, regular basis. So the CHIP priorities that we believe TreeCycle is addressing, it was really exciting to see your priorities, because we felt like a lot of the things we're doing and want to do kind of fall right in the middle of this, maximizing the built-in natural environment. So we've been at work on Browns Creek corridor for the last decade, trying to clean it up, analyzing it with our science department, doing mass cleanups every year, multiple times a year, and really trying to maximize the built environment in terms of any spaces that we could get to plant trees, to plant gardens. We've been trying to promote that. And of course, you're probably aware of the studies around mental and emotional health gains from a neighborhood that has a strong tree canopy, institutions like schools and even correctional facilities that have been studied with a lot of trees and visibility has shown there's a real strong gain in mental health outcomes and behavior outcomes when you have a good, strong tree canopy around. Additionally, the funding priorities that were listed in cross-sector collaboration, we're wanting to, and already are working between education, transportation, community development, and business sectors. We've got a lot of partnerships that we're already involved in, and they stretch across local community groups, especially the Napier Community Center, which is really at the heart of that neighborhood, working really hard. And Odessa Kelly there, who's doing such excellent work, is excited about the opportunity to see youth jobs that's going to prepare them for green-collar careers in the future and to get to work in their own neighborhood to solve and create leadership in the youth around some of the challenges that community faces. We do work with elementary school, the Division of Forestry, and some of the other state and local conservation services, both nonprofit and civic. Excited to work with some of the local bike shops and arborists who we've been working with that can show youth how they can get to work and have careers in places that really benefit the city, that promote active transportation, that promote care of our urban canopy. Just a little about who we are and what we've done. As I mentioned, we've been at work planting trees and gardens in the neighborhood since 2008, even before we officially started our farm in 2011 on campus, at work in the local schools. And we've been creating youth jobs for the past 5 years through grants with funding from the EPA, Aetna, Metro Parks, and our university. And we also created a bike program at our university. So we've had some experience doing this kind of work. That's us standing in front of a Juneberry that we just planted with some of our local youth. The sustainability of this program, we expect that because we have established programming in our farm and university, because we've got a real broad-based partnership, we've got great institutional support from Trevecca and our capacity throughout the university. We have 3 staff at the farm year-round, and then we also have 10 student workers, and we're getting 2 AmeriCorps Vista workers this summer, so we've got a strong base of support from our staffing. And we've got a history of sustaining programming, so we have taken programs that have been jump-started with grants and then kept them going after those grants have run out, including the summer camps, which we've been running since 2013. We've had experience with all these program activities, and I was happy to hear Trevecca was awarded a Tree Campus Award by the mayor, I guess it was Arbor Day last week or the week before, and he announced that they're planning on planting 600,000 trees in the next decade. And we think that's a real opportunity. We'd love to help these youth be able to use that opportunity to get these green-collar jobs and to take their place in Nashville really greening up in that way. And with the increased development, we're seeing everywhere these major trees getting cut down and removed from our canopy, and it's something we desperately need as our traffic increases, as our and our ability environmentally to cope with that decreases, including stormwater, things like this. And we want to work with Metro Water as well, because they have their priorities around trees and capturing and sequestering some of that water rather than having it create flooding problems and an overburden to our sewage system. So this is a little bit about our plan. I don't really want to go into details, but we've outlined a plan where we would recruit in this summer and then train, have some community events around fixing and biking together, similar to some of the Edge Hill Bike Club and things where you create community around biking together. We already have an established orchard at Trevecca. We want to, and something I haven't mentioned is we'd really love to focus where we can, where it's not over pervious surfaces that will be walked on, but we love to focus on tree fruit and nuts, and really promote this original fast food that kids can access freely. And so we've done this, and we've already got we already have mature orchards and have planted it at the different schools around. So we've seen that kind of come to literally fruition, and would love to kind of promote those kinds of trees that aren't just doing those ecosystem services of sequestering water, cleaning air, calming and capturing particulates, but also feeding the community. Because that is our entryway into a lot of the other food and nutrition conversations that we have, and into producing their own food. So we plan on using the breaks to plant trees and discover who wants those trees, and at the end we want to give the young people that are participating a new bike. So they'll fix up an old one, and that'll be an opportunity to teach them how to break down and take apart and fix bikes. But then we also at the end want to give them an opportunity to have a brand new one and then send them on their way. So that's our hopes for the TreeCycle program.